Big games bring big appetites. For all your party needs, count on the Kraft family of foods and Martin's supermarkets. From the opening kickoff to the postgame show, make Kraft and Martin's part of your team for every successful party occasion. Kraft offers easy meal solutions. The starting lineup includes Oscar Mayer lunch meats, Kraft cheeses, barbecue sauce, Miracle Whip salad dressing, and many other fine Kraft food products. Kraft family of foods and Martin's supermarkets, a winning combination.
First of all, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I'm proud to be named the 25th head football coach at the University of Notre Dame.
Lou Holtz was named the 25th head football coach at the University of Notre Dame on the afternoon of November 25th, 1985.
We felt like he had the experience to step into a high-pressure job like this and make it work.
Holtz had been an Irish fan growing up in East Liverpool, Ohio, but the current Irish players knew little about him.
I'm 5 feet 10, 152 pounds, wear glasses, speak with a lisp, and have a physique that appears like I've been inflicted with beriberi and scurvy most of my life.
Former Irish quarterback Terry Andrzejczyk still has vivid memories of the first team meeting a week later, when Holtz took command of the Irish program.
Instead of getting all warm and fuzzy with us and saying, "Hi, I'm Coach Holtz, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm happy to work with you," he immediately jumped on us and said, "Hey, sit up in your seats, take your hats off." And he really, from that point on, directed where the program is going. He spent a lot of time telling us about the structure, about the discipline that's going to happen now, that we're now going to be on Lou Holtz time.
Once he captured the attention of the Irish players, he set out to win the affection of the faithful Notre Dame fans. More than 32,000 fans showed up for the Irish spring game in 1986. They wanted to see firsthand how Holtz figured to retool a Notre Dame team that had just suffered a losing season for only the 8th time since the university began playing football in 1887. Holtz wasted no time in putting his imprint on an already tradition-rich Notre Dame program. His first game as Irish head coach in 1986 ended in a 1-point loss to Michigan. But his team's effort earned a standing ovation from the fans at Notre Dame Stadium. A year later, in 1987, Notre Dame played in a major bowl game for the first time in 7 years. In 1988, Holtz's Irish blazed to a 12-0 season and the national championship. And the Irish were in the title hunt on a regular basis throughout the remainder of the Holtz era, never beginning the year ranked lower than 9th and 4 times finishing among the top 6. In 11 years with the Irish, Holtz coached more football games than anyone in Notre Dame history, and his 100 victories with the Irish rank only 5 shy of the legendary Knute Rockne. Holtz made excellence on the field a trademark of his tenure in South Bend.
When he came to Notre Dame, I said, he'll have Notre Dame in a bowl game within 3 years. Well, he made a liar out of me because he took him to a bowl game in 2 years.
Perhaps nothing was more memorable from the Lou Holtz era than the sheer number of games his teams played against highly ranked opponents. That created formidable challenges for the coaches, but it was a dream come true for the fans. 3 times in Holtz's 11 seasons, in 1987, 1989, and 1995, the Irish played the toughest schedule in the country according to NCAA statistics. In 1986, the Irish ranked 3rd in that category, and in 1990, 4th. In those 11 years, the Irish played 56 games against ranked opponents, far more than the number faced by any other Irish head coach. Even more impressive, Notre Dame won 34 of those games and went 21, 15, and 1 against top 10 teams. And in 89 and 90, when the Irish combined to finish 21 and 4, Notre Dame each year faced 7 ranked opponents. Holtz's first time out of the Notre Dame Stadium tunnel in '86 sent his Irish against the Wolverines of Bo Schembechler. Notre Dame earned admirers right away. The Irish rolled 455 total yards and did not punt all afternoon. Tim Brown rushed for 65 yards in his new role as a flanker. and quarterback Steve Berline completed 21 of 33 passes for 263 yards. The Irish lost by a single point. If there was a breakthrough game in the Holtz era, it may have come in the 1986 finale against USC in the Los Angeles Coliseum. On paper, the game for the Irish meant no more than the difference between 4-7 and 5-6. In reality, the comeback victory proved far more valuable. Down 17 points in the fourth quarter, the Irish put on a furious rally in the final 12 minutes. Steve Berline threw two of his record-tying 4 touchdown passes in that period. And Tim Brown returned to punt 56 yards in the final minutes to set up a game-winning John Carney field goal from 19 yards out at the final go. The 1-point Irish victory over the 17th-rated Trojans launched Brown's Heisman Trophy campaign for the following season and sent Notre Dame into year 2 of the Holtz era with a significant shot in the arm. In 1987, the Irish again debuted against Michigan, this time in Ann Arbor, and came away with a convincing 26-7 win over the 9th-rated Wolverines. But it was the Notre Dame home opener the following week against 17th-ranked Michigan State in prime time on ESPN that sent Tim Brown to the head of the pack in the Heisman Derby. Brown returned consecutive punts 71 and 66 yards for touchdowns before a nighttime audience at Notre Dame Stadium. That made him the leader in the clubhouse for college football's top individual award and branded him as the most dangerous player in the nation.
He's at the 30, one man to beat 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Irish, Jimmy Brown.
Maybe Notre Dame's most impressive overall effort of the '87 season came when the Crimson Tide of Alabama visited Notre Dame Stadium for the first time in 11 years. The Tide managed a quick field goal, but Notre Dame simply dominated the rest of the way, thanks to a ground game that rolled up 348 yards and handed Alabama its worst loss in 30 seasons. The only touchdown the Irish scored in their 1988 opener against 9th-ranked Michigan was on an 81-yard punt return by Ricky Waters.
To the 20, 25, he's at the 30, 25, to the 40, he's a block, at the 50, he's going to go all the way, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, touchdown Notre Dame, 81 yards.
But that score, and 4 field goals by Reggie Ho, including the game winner with 1:13 left on the clock, were enough to enable Holtz's squad to hold on. It was enough to jumpstart Notre Dame into what would quickly become a memorable season. A mid-season matchup with top-ranked Miami had the makings of something special. The bitter memory of the Hurricanes' 58-7 win to close the '85 campaign was fresh in the minds of the Irish players and coaches. This time, Notre Dame's defense forced 7 turnovers in its bid to end Miami's 36-game regular season winning streak. The Irish never trailed, at one time taking a commanding 21-7 lead on a 60-yard interception return by Pat Carroll. The Irish defense was forced to withstand the last of the Hurricanes' parries, led by Frank Stamps, who forced 2 fumbles, recovered another, and tipped 2 passes, one of them Terrell's interception. And again, it was Florida native Terrell who knocked down Steve Walsh's 2-point attempt to seal the Notre Dame victory.
It's better down by Terrell, and the Irish may win it this afternoon. They're out at 31-30 as Jimmy Johnson went for 2.
The Irish finished that '88 regular season campaign with a classic matchup. 10-0 top-ranked Notre Dame took on 10-0 second-ranked USC. Tony Rice got the Irish off to a great start on a 65-yard option run.
To the 40, to the 45, down the sideline, at the 40, at the 30, at the 20. He could go all the way to 10-5. Touchdown, Irish!
But again, it was the defense that forced 4 Trojan turnovers, knocked Rodney Peete out of the game, and propelled the visitors to a huge win over the men of Troy. Notre Dame's special teams produced some amazing statistics during the Holtz era. The Irish ran back 28 punts and kickoffs for touchdowns during those 11 seasons, compared to just 1 for the opponents. Maybe the most talented of those return men started the '89 season off with a bang against second-rated Michigan in Ann Arbor. Raghib Ismail turned the Wolverines upside down. His 89-yard return to start the second half put the Irish on top 14-6. Then his 92-yarder in the fourth quarter gave the Irish a 12-point edge on their way to a 24-19 victory.
25, out of the pack, 30, 35, goodbye, baby! At the 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, bye-bye, rocket, touchdown, Irish!
5 weeks later against 9th-ranked USC, Holtz's squad overcame 5 turnovers and a 17-7 halftime deficit to defeat the Trojans. Tony Rice threw 40 yards to Rocket Ismail to set up the winning Irish score, with Rice going the final 15 yards himself on the very next play.
Down to the 10, he's down to the 5, he's at the end zone, touchdown Irish! 15-yard run by Tony Rice.
Notre Dame's defense then withstood 3 pass attempts by Todd Marinovich in the final minute from the Irish 7-yard line. After winning their 22nd straight game to break the all-time Notre Dame record, the unbeaten Irish journeyed to State College looking for their first victory on Penn State's turf since 1913. Notre Dame rolled up 425 rushing yards, the most ever against Penn State. Tony Rice ran for a career-high 141 yards. Ricky Waters added 128.
Around the right side is Waters, 10. Waters down to the 5, the 3, the 1, into the end zone, touchdown!
And Raghib Ismail 84 against a Nittany Lion team that had led the nation in scoring defense. The Irish opened the 1990 season ranked number 1 in the polls, then began the year by facing 4th-ranked Michigan in prime time. With Rick Meyer debuting as the Irish signal caller, Notre Dame overcame a 24-14 fourth-period deficit. Meyer completed his last 5 passes, including the game winner to Adrian Jarrell, with 1:40 left to play. In a midseason confrontation with second-ranked Miami, the Irish prevailed thanks to 5 Craig Hendrick field goals, 276 all-purpose yards by Rocket Ismail, and 275 rushing yards against a Hurricane defense that had been giving up only 62 per game. Ismail ran 1 kickoff back 94 yards to tie the score and rushed for 100 yards overall, while the Irish limited Miami to 20 second-half rushing yards. In an entertaining late-season matchup in Knoxville, top-ranked Notre Dame saw the Rockets sprint 44 yards for the winning points against 9th-rated Tennessee. Ricky Waters rushed for a career-high 174 yards, and the Irish used 2 interceptions in the final 5 minutes to hold off the Volunteers before the second-largest crowd in Neyland Stadium history. Boston College brought an unbeaten record and number 9 ranking with them for the November battle in 1992 at Notre Dame Stadium. But the fight proved to be rather one-sided. The Irish scored the first 5 times they had the football and led 37-0 at halftime, marking the most points ever scored by Notre Dame against a ranked team and the biggest margin of victory over a ranked team in 26 years. A week later, in the snow and cold, the Irish ended their series with Penn State in glorious fashion, thanks to a dramatic last-minute comeback. The 8th-ranked Irish drove 64 yards for their only touchdown, a 4th down, 3-yard touchdown pass from Rick Meyer to Jerome Bettis with 20 seconds remaining. Still down by a point, Meyer then connected with Reggie Brooks for the game-winning points on only the 2nd pass ever caught by Brooks in a game. For the 3rd straight week, Notre Dame faced a ranked opponent, 19th-rated USC. Reggie Brooks put on a record-setting show in his final regular season game, rushing for 227 yards. Brooks ran 12 yards for a score in the opening period. He put the Irish ahead to stay with a 55-yard scoring dash just before halftime. Then scurried 44 yards in the third period to help cement the victory. The 1993 season featured the traditional early season meeting with Michigan, this time in Ann Arbor against the third-rated Wolverines. A sensational effort by quarterback Kevin McDougal helped stake the Irish to a 24-10 halftime advantage. And the Irish defense intercepted 3 second-half passes to hold off the home team. Maybe the most publicized game in Notre Dame Stadium history came on November 13, 1993, when the second-ranked and unbeaten Irish played host to the unbeaten top-ranked Seminoles of Florida State. Jeff Burris ran for 2 touchdowns. And Sean Wooden made the game-saving deflection of a Charlie Ward pass as time expired.
The Irish is upset. Florida State. Notre Dame wins. Pandemonium on the field. 31-24. Notre Dame is number 1.
1994 marked the debut of Ron Paulus in the quarterback job, and his first game in a Notre Dame uniform could not have been more impressive. Paulus tied an all-time Irish record by throwing for 4 touchdowns and completing 18 of 24 throws to help the Irish pace the Wildcats of Northwestern. The 95 season began in bizarre fashion with Lou Holtz sidelined following early season neck surgery. But even with Holtz in the press box, his Irish did not miss a beat. Trailing 13th-ranked Texas early in the third period, Notre Dame responded with 28 fourth-quarter points to knock off the Longhorns in Notre Dame Stadium. It marked the most points scored against Texas since 1988. Notre Dame's defense forced 5 turnovers, ran an interception back for a touchdown, and had 5 sacks. Two weeks later in Seattle, the Irish scored 2 touchdowns in the final 90 seconds for a come-from-behind victory over the 15th-ranked Huskies. Autry Denson ran 7 yards to put the Irish down by 1. And a 2-point conversion pass to Derek Mays gave the Irish the lead. Then Alan Rossum ran back an interception 76 yards with 28 seconds remaining for the final margin. Notre Dame's first trip to Austin, Texas since 1952 produced a heart-stopping Irish triumph typical of the Irish Longhorn series. This time, Notre Dame came from behind twice, the last time on a 4th down run by Autry Denson after a huge interception by LaRon Collins. Then it was left to freshman kicker Jim Sanson, who booted the game-winning 39-yard field goal as time ran out to beat the 6th-ranked Longhorns. A visit by 16th-rated Washington to Notre Dame Stadium produced a monstrous offensive explosion by the Irish. Notre Dame rolled up 650 total yards, including 397 on the ground alone. Autry Denson ran for 137 yards. And Ron Paulus threw for 194 yards and 3 touchdowns. In 1996, Notre Dame made its second trip ever to play in a foreign country when they visited Dublin, Ireland to meet the Naval Academy. Mark Edwards scored 3 times.
Edwards crashing to the goal line, touchdown.
Autry Denson ran for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns to defeat the Middies. Notre Dame's return game sparkled against Pittsburgh in 1996. Alan Rossum tied an NCAA record by returning consecutive punts for touchdowns. Autry Denson added a 3rd punt return for a score. As tough as Lou Holtz's teams were in the regular season, they often were even more dangerous in bowl games, where the Irish head coach had extra time to prepare. Notre Dame proved that point while they were qualifying for a major bowl game in 9 straight seasons between 1987 and 1995. Lou's record in those games produced 5 wins. Notre Dame's bid for the national crown in 1988 hinged on its ability to deal with unbeaten and third-ranked West Virginia in the Fiesta Bowl. The Irish proved more than equal to the challenge. Tony Rice ran for 75 yards and threw for 213 more. Frank Stamms led a vaunted Irish defense as Notre Dame broke out to a 23-6 halftime lead and never looked back. The workmanlike Irish rolled up 455 total yards in eliminating the only other unbeaten team in the nation. A year later in the Orange Bowl against top-ranked Colorado, the Irish ended the Buffalo title hopes with a rugged running attack and a solid defense to finish the year 12-1. Raghib Ismail turned the corner for 1 touchdown. And Anthony Johnson scored twice, the last capping an 82-yard drive that took nearly 9 minutes of the final period. The 1990 season finale featured the same 2 teams at the same Orange Bowl site, again with Colorado ranked number 1. The Irish nearly pulled off a second win over the Buffs, but a 91-yard punt return by Raghib Ismail was called back on a clipping penalty with 43 seconds left, and that kept Holtz's squad from finishing on top. The next year against third-rated Florida in the Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame overcame a frustrating first half and used its relentless ground game to pound on a victory against the Gators. Confusing Florida with a drop-back defense, the Irish unleashed a running game that produced 245 yards in the second half alone. Jerome Bettis had 127 of those himself, including 3 touchdowns in the final quarter. The Irish journeyed to Dallas in the Cotton Bowl to meet Texas A&M following the 1992 and 1993 seasons. Both times, the Irish emerged victorious. The first time around, the Irish vanquished the previously unbeaten Aggies thanks to 115 rushing yards from Reggie Brooks and 75 more from Jerome Bettis. The Irish started with a Rick Meyer TD pass to Lake Dawson.
To Dawson through the middle of the field. Lake Dawson, touchdown!
And the Notre Dame defense permitted only 78 rushing yards. The following year, the Irish came from behind in the second half and got a game-winning field goal from Kevin Pendergast with 2:22 left on the clock to pull out the win. Lee Becton ran for his 7th straight 100-yard game and joined Kevin McDougal and Ray Zellers in scoring rushing touchdowns in an evenly matched game that was tied at 7, 14, and 21.
It still, to this day, hasn't sunk in that we won the national championship. Maybe 20 years down the road it will.
The Lou Holtz era produced more than its share of outstanding individual football players, led by 1987 Heisman Trophy winner Tim Brown, the 7th Irish player to claim that prestigious award. Holtz played a pivotal role in Brown's development, taking a player who had been strictly a wide receiver and turning him into a quadruple threat. Tim Brown scared Irish foes whether he touched the football on runs, passes, punt returns, or kickoff returns. He finished his career as Notre Dame's all-time leader in pass reception yardage. He also returned 3 punts and 3 kickoffs for touchdowns. A pair of Lombardi Award winners, nose tackle Chris Zorich and offensive lineman Aaron Taylor, excelled under Holtz, each winning 2-time consensus All-America honors. Raghib Ismail was the Heisman runner-up in 1990 and won the Walter Camp Player of the Year award, displaying the same all-purpose talents as Brown. Other consensus All-Americans included 2-time cornerback selection Todd Light, 2-time linebacker selection Michael Stonebreaker, defensive back Jeff Burris, offensive lineman Mirko Jerkovic, defensive end Frank Stamms, and defensive back Bobby Taylor. In all, 33 different players in the Holtz era earned some sort of All-America recognition. Though the Holtz era was known for its dominating Notre Dame ground efforts, Holtz tutored Irish all-time passing leader Rick Meyer, Ron Paulus, and receiver Derek Mays. He coached 2 players who won NCAA statistical championships, Raghib Ismail, who led the nation in kickoff returns in 1988, and Alan Rossum, who paced the country's punt returners in 1996. 74 players who played for Holtz were selected in the National Football League draft, including 12 first-round selections. During Holtz's final season in 1996, Notre Dame had more players on NFL rosters than any other school.
He teaches you how to be a person. I got my degree in psychology, and I love interacting with people. I love talking with people, and that's the side that Coach Holtz has that I think distinguishes him from all the other coaches that I've ever been involved with, because he finds a way to tap you personally and get the best out of you, not only in athletics but also as an individual.
Kent Graham was a quarterback, and I was a quarterback at the time, and I ran the wrong side, the wrong play, and he got mad at me. He jumped on my back, and he had me at a certain position I couldn't get up. And he's asking, who do you read? And I was saying, all these linemen's name, and it's like, no. He started laughing, but people took it the wrong way. They took it that he was being very aggressive to me, but I look at it was all fun and games.
When Holtz came in, it was kind of a new attitude, new tempo, kind of a recommitment to the team.
You got to believe. This school was founded on faith and on belief. I told you last week how when Notre Dame burnt down, Father Soren said the mistake we made was we didn't build it big enough. Everything here at Notre Dame's been done on faith and a commitment to excellence, a commitment to each other. The luncheon yesterday, I was asked what Notre Dame meant to me. 1, it means religion. 2, it means family, where people care about you, not just because you win or because things go well, but they genuinely care. The other thing it means to me is a set of standards, a commitment. 1986, people were saying Notre Dame would never win again. We had a group of guys that wanted to win but didn't know how. Then we progressed to the point where we had a group of guys that wanted to win, knew how to win. Then we progressed to the point where we have a group of guys that know how to win, but sometimes we don't always exhibit it. And that's a thing in the past. We're not going out and defending anything. We're going out to fight for it, to compete for it. Nobody gives you anything in this world. But people can give you money, they can give you wealth, they can give you fame. The one thing nobody in this world can give you, men, is respect. The self-respect you have for yourself, the way you play the game, and the way you believe, and the way you do things. This is a game of respect. You are Notre Dame. You are special. But you represent Notre Dame. You represent everybody that came before you and everybody that'll come after you. At Notre Dame, there's a spirit. The spirit is something that's within you.
While Lou Holtz and his players earned most of the headlines, the Irish head coach put together a series of quality assistant coaches, many of whom earned impressive promotion thanks to their work under the Golden Dome. 10 of his assistants became head coaches at the collegiate level, including Rose Bowl winning Wisconsin head coach and former Irish defensive coordinator Barry Alvarez, and Lou's son Skip, who went from the Notre Dame offensive coordinator position to become head coach at Connecticut. 9 of Holtz's other assistant coaches became National Football League assistant coaches. Holtz himself earned his share of accolades, being named consensus National Coach of the Year in 1988 and being a finalist 3 consecutive years from 87 through 89. Far beyond wins and losses, Lou Holtz's 11 seasons with the Irish put Notre Dame in impressive position in nearly any category by which the program could be measured.
Well, I think his record speaks for itself. Everywhere he's ever been, he's been successful. He's taken programs that have been down and developed them into winning programs. And when you see that trend, that you know that he's been a winner.
Lou is a motivator. I mean, that's what he does, and so I think it's one of those things he never stops with, and he wanted to make sure that with all the stress here on academics and your performance, that
when they stepped on that football field, they were ready to play football. So that's, I think, all the things that he did motivationally were really geared to that, is to get a piece of their mind and to have them ready to play.
Every home game was a sellout in traditional 59,075 fashion, and all but 12 road games in the Holtz era also were played before capacity crowds. At the same time, he coached the Irish to 16 straight road wins over one stretch. He coached 4 academic All-Americans, including NCAA postgraduate scholarship winner Tim Ruddy, and twice saw his institution claim the College Football Association's Academic Achievement Award. In 1988, his Irish team claimed the national championship, both on the field with its perfect record and in the classroom as a CFA award winner. Interest in events surrounding Irish home games reached an all-time high in the Holtz years. Pep rallies in the Joy Center traditionally drew capacity crowds of more than 10,000, and the Friday noon quarterback club luncheons packed 2,500 Irish followers into the Joy Center Fieldhouse.
You know, it's hard being here and being away from home and cold weather and difficult academics, etc. He didn't play at all as a freshman, but I tell you one thing he has a tremendous family, just like the other 2 young men on the podium. And I talked to his father from time to time. Then last year we had to play him at tight end, and he played very, very well. He was an outside linebacker. We called him in about 5 weeks ago and said, Alton, we believe your best position in the future is a defensive line. This is a rather shattering blow to a young man that thinks that he's an outside linebacker, but I said, I believe in my heart you can be an outstanding defensive lineman. Moving to defensive line, he intercepted a pass in our last home game, ran it back for a touchdown. He's a guy that just makes plays.
The success of the Notre Dame program under Holtz played no small role in other major decisions, including the one by NBC Sports to begin televising all Irish home games on a national basis beginning in 1991, and the one by the university to expand Notre Dame Stadium to a capacity of 80,225. Away from the field, Holtz championed numerous worthy causes, from South Bend Center for the Homeless to the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation, lending his time, name, and likeness.
But to the residents of the homeless center, there are people who care about you. It'll be interesting to see where you are 5 years from now. It'll be interesting to see where my children are 5 years from now. It'll be interesting to see where I am 5 years from now. I have no idea, but I can tell you this. If we all follow those things that I just mentioned, I feel quite sure that we will be very, very happy and leading a productive life. We are going to probably be leaving the South Bend area. We don't wish to, but I got to be less than honest with you. I don't particularly like the winters here. I'm sure you might do. But this has been a wonderful community for us to live in. We've indeed been blessed. And I can assure you, the same as I said about the University of Notre Dame, we've taken far more out of this community than we have given. And as a closing thing, somebody said, would you do this one last time? I've never done this here, but just like any other newspaper. Front page for people who want to read the news, comics for people who can't read, and the editorial page for people who can't think. But like everything else, people can criticize you, people can find fault, people can do a variety of different things. But if you really have a strong faith and a strong belief, then all the criticism and everything else won't really bother you. You just have a faith and belief, and you'll just continue to move on. Now, I used to try to do this with a phone book, but I'm not very strong. Man, I'm a lot weaker, honey, than I used to be, I'll promise you that. But many people are going to think that they actually saw me tear that newspaper up. But if you really have a strong faith and a strong belief, you can put the whole thing back together, as I said. Now,
but it was on the field where Notre Dame's fiery field general left his most impressive mark. He inherited an Irish program with a losing record, turned the team on track to win a national title within 3 years, and kept Notre Dame in the hunt on a yearly basis. His teams were always well prepared, especially when it came to fundamentals. Seldom did Lou Holtz's teams lose, and even less often did they beat themselves. His teams never averaged less than 27 points per game, and in 6 straight seasons averaged 31 or better. Holtz consistently kept his own players and the media entertained.
I came back for a lot of reasons.
I came back because I thought I was going to receive a gift. I can't believe this. I said to Era, did they give you a gift? He said, they gave me a golf club. I thought, well, geez, that's not that great. Surely they'll do more than that for me. And Era said, I'd like to remind you, though, it was 36 holes and had a swimming pool. And to Jerome Bettis, I want to say this. You mentioned Einstein. I always felt you had a brain just like Einstein. Been dead since 1955. Jerome Bettis signed a big contract. I'm proud of Jerome. Jerome's great. And when he signed a big contract, I thought, well, maybe we can go into business. I'm getting out of coaching, so I called Jerome. I said, Jerome, what would you do if you had an industrial plant? He said, I'd water that sucker every day. And to Tony Rice, a great competitor. I remember we're playing Pittsburgh in '88. Pittsburgh scored, the crowd's going exciting. It's in the fourth quarter, and Tony came up and said, boy, this is a great game, isn't it? And I thought, that isn't really that my kind of excitement. I said, why do you say that? And he said, it's just fun to compete. He said, it's fun to find out something about yourself, and that's really true. And Derek May's just a tremendous talent. What could I say about Derek? Very, very smart, very talented. Put together a difficult jigsaw puzzle in 18 months. Now you got to be impressed, because on the box it said 3 to 5 years.
When Lou Holtz announced his resignation 5 days before Notre Dame's 1996 home finale against Rutgers, it marked the end of maybe the most consistently successful 11-year run in Notre Dame football history. His 27 seasons had made him one of only 14 coaches in history to reach the coveted 200 victory mark. The end of the Rutgers game gave Lou Holtz a final chance to pay tribute to the Irish, and vice versa.
For the students, you are important. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't need a faculty. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't need an administration. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't need the stadium. This university functions because of you. The sole purpose for you. God has blessed me in so many ways. To be here at Notre Dame has been very, very special, and to have 3 children graduate from Notre Dame means so much to my wife and I. I know they were in that student body, and I know what this university has done for my children, and I feel blessed. You'll find that we can build a better stadium, and it will be next year. You'll find we can put a better field, playing surface, than we have now. You can probably find a better socialite than we have at Notre Dame. You'll find better coaches. You'll find better food. But you will not find anything, no school, that you can improve on its morals, its purpose, and its belief. And that's why I've been blessed to be here. God has been good to me. And I say this to you. You are Notre Dame. Where you go, you're a Golden Dome. We're going to have a new coach. We're going to have a great team. I will be with you. I can only say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have no idea how much you meant to me, how you supported me, how you lifted me up when I was down, when I was depressed. I'd walk across the campus. I'd be going to church and somebody say, hi, coach. And I just feel like $1 million. I mean that to the band, to the cheerleaders, to other people, but to the Notre Dame family. I can't say anything except I've been blessed. Thank you, and God bless you.